too. I was only 9 years old, man. He grabbed me, threw me up against the wall, held a knife to my throat. He said he was gonna kill me. And that was the night our house burnt down. And this other time, when I was like 11, 12 years old, you know, he was beating Mom real bad. And I ran to the phone to call the cops, right? But then he went and he tore that thing out the wall. And he said that if he was going to go to jail for somebody like me, that he was going to kill me. Then, him and his buddy just took turns kicking the shit out of me. I mean, stomping me out. Man, I blacked out. The next thing I know, I came to and I was swinging this chopping mall like right and left. And ended up hitting him and his buddy with it. Guess what? I'm there covering up my own blood, and they take me to jail for assault. I still remember the day Mom and King got me out of juvie. She had all my clothes packed up in the car, and she told me that I had to move out. Man, you know, I couldn't believe she chose him over me. But it's the drugs. I mean, he was a good guy in the beginning. And that's just the way it goes. You know, man, I hate drugs. Really do. I mean, I hate what they've done to me, my family, other people. But it's like I feel so normal when I'm using. When I ain't got them, I'm useless. I mean, I sit around getting nothing done. You know, I ain't been without them for like 4 years now. Oh, my real father? Well, the only relationship me and Pops ever had was dealing dope and just doing a whole lot of drugs together. I mean, he used to run a business in this town for 45 years. You know, he had a boat and he laundered his money through the fishing business. Eventually, he even had a hit on him by the Mexican mafia because, you know, he was cutting in on their business and they had no clue where he was getting his dope. Now that I think about it, you know, I just wanted to be close to him, man. And that's the only way we knew how. Sad, but that's the only way we knew how to kick it. You know, he's 60 now and just got out of prison. And says he's done, you know. I don't know, maybe. You know, man, I want help real bad. I mean, I got a job. I'm a mechanic, a roofer. Taught myself most of that, you know, with no education. If I had the chance, I would love to go back to school. Maybe get certified to do something. Man, you know, I hear people say a lot of the time that it's never too late. But I swear to God, I have no clue what's going to happen to me. I mean, they want this money from me. And I can't run from it no more. But I gotta stay out of jail. And my kids, man, I swear to God, I love my kids. It's just like, I don't know if I don't love the dope more. You know what I mean?
The latest research addresses the functions of the brain and the role that it plays with regard to addiction. As science continues to throw light on the addictive process, it not only helps to destigmatize the disease, but it also dismisses the whole argument that it's about morality or lack of values or self-discipline as being completely unscientific. In very basic terms, there are two parts of the brain. There's the neocortex, which is the high-functioning, rational, decision-making part of the brain. And then there's the limbic system, the older, more primitive, survival-driven part of the brain, which drives emotions and the fight-or-flight responses, and is most affected by our beliefs and behaviors and cravings and addictions. Drugs and alcohol program the limbic system to avoid uncomfortable fears and emotions, and in many cases severe traumas, instead of figuring out healthy ways to move through those fears. Addiction is not so much about getting high as it is about feeling normal.
When it comes to treatment of alcoholics and addicts, our government, our society as a whole, has an attitude almost that it's a matter of willpower for people. There's that attitude that we have as Americans, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Well, you know, I don't buy that for a second. Drug addiction is a disease.
To think that we can treat substance abuse and somehow we're going to get good people out of the other end, I think is a real fallacy.
We can't say to someone, it is your willpower, put the bottle down and you will be fine. It doesn't work that way. We've got to offer them other alternatives.
You have some family members that have totally written off the addict for good reason. Maybe they've been abused, maybe they've been used for years and years and years, and they've come to a place where nothing has helped the addict, and so they've had to close the door and write them off. Then you have another set that go the other way. They have done everything. There's a 50-year-old that's living with his 80-year-old mom, and he's using, has been his whole life. The codependency kind of thing that you hear so much about. So there's that middle road of how to do that tough love and how to really get at people. One of the best places would be if a person is in prison. They have prison treatment programs. That could be a prime time for getting that family in.
The criminal justice system can't force you not to do or to do anything that ultimately you don't want to. But I certainly think if we can do something to facilitate people's opportunity for change, that's got to be good. And that may be on our part. I'd love to be able to start getting people into treatment even at the point that they're in jail, because there's always going to be jails. There's always going to be people who are going to make poor choices that are going to make them guests of mine. But for those folks who want to make a change in their life, catching them when they're at their most vulnerable is oftentimes a good time to start that change, and to be able to provide them some of the services versus just warehousing them in a big ugly building can only be to the benefit of the offender, their family, and the entire community.
Frankly, I think it takes both treatment and having sometimes some sort of hammer over people's heads, because again, the process of addiction is such that people become so incapacitated that they need structure. They need different and varying amounts, so individual treatment planning is definitely where we need to be.
I think that treatment is critical. I think anything we can do to try to train them for jobs is critical. But I think accountability is the focus. That should be the cornerstone we have for our entire system. We'd like to see the excuse, well, God, the drugs made you do it. Or the bad upbringing, you know, if the father used to beat the kid and he was an alcoholic, that made this person go off the track and commit crimes.
To sit with someone who opposes the work that we do, to remind them at some point their lives were not perfect, it is a wonderful way to begin to say to them, we are our brother's keeper. We are